To compensation and benefits. This is Dr. Rich, and I wanted to spend a few minutes today posting a orientation video, introduction video, whatever you want to call it. Really just kind of touching on some random points to help make sure that you start off on the right track this week. So it may seem like I'm kind of jumping back and forth. I'll move from the syllabus. I'll talk about a few things in Canvas. I'll jump over to the weekly schedule. So really this is designed kind of to fill in some of the pieces that questions you may have as you're reviewing, the syllabus, the schedule, and trying to get started in Canvas the first week. So I really kind of just want to touch on things that may be unique to this class, maybe unique to me as an instructor, and things that are really important that I communicate with you to help you make the most of this first week. So hopefully you realize that you are in an accelerated course. This is an 8-week course. This class, Compensation and Benefits, has always been one of the more time-intensive courses that I teach, and I'm referring to the sections that are the full semester. So to condense this into an 8-week period, it's intense. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely doable. A lot of I've taught this really for this is your option, right? For the MBA, you have the shorter terms, which is nice because it, in a way, I think it can be easier, or an advantage is that you hopefully you're taking 5 courses, or you're taking half the courses you would at a time. So it enables you to really immerse yourself with the topic and get involved. So go into it with a positive attitude and open mind, and you'll be great. There is a lot of information, so you'll maybe feel this week like you're kind of like feeding it to you through a water hose. That's okay. I'll try to explain the structure and the kind of the method of the madness, why it feels like so much up front through this video. But mainly, if I could stress one thing today, it would be you don't have time to waste. I know with traditional classes, sometimes the first week is kind of viewed as a la-di-da, just kind of getting your feet wet, make sure you have your book, but not in this class. Okay, so there are probably there's more like deliverables, things that you need to do the first week, this week, starting day 1, to really set yourself up for success. Okay, so I am basing this orientation, or this video, this introduction, on the premise that you've taken a class in Canvas, an online class at UWF before. However, that may not be the case with everyone, and so by all means, if this is your first time taking an online class at UWF, Canvas, whatever, or even if you just feel completely lost after we go through this, and maybe you've taken classes here before, please reach out to me, and I'd like to schedule a time to meet with you individually within the first couple days of this semester, at least at the minimum sometime during the first week. Okay, so again, I'm not going to go over, this is not an intro to Canvas or even an intro to online classes. This is just some things that I think are unique or important to this course. So if you need a more thorough introduction, I am more than happy to talk to you, to meet with you. We can FaceTime or go through stuff, because like I said, don't wait till you fall behind to reach out for help. At any point in this course, if you feel like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to be doing? Please reach out to me. Now, I will say that is assuming that you have, reviewed the resources that are available. One of my pet peeves is when students just fire off emails to me about things that are very clearly noted in the class email I sent out at the beginning of each week or in the syllabus. So, don't reach out to me just because you don't feel like reading the syllabus. I'm not saying you do that, but by all means, if you've read the syllabus and the instructions for the project, and you at any point in the semester just feel overwhelmed or need guidance on what you need to focus on, what you need to be doing, that's one of the one of my jobs. So don't wait till you fall behind or it'll be too late, especially an 8-week course. Okay, so the syllabus is my syllabi for all my classes are relatively long. So you can see this one's like 11 pages. I try to put as much information in the syllabus as possible because to me it makes sense. If you don't know where to go, if you're looking for something, go start with the syllabus. It's either going to have the information in there or it's going to direct you, to another document, a video, something where you can find that. So read through all this. A couple things, how to reach me that may be different than others. So I don't have an office phone. So I do have my cell phone listed on my syllabus. Had it done this for several years and it hasn't been an issue. I don't answer unknown phone calls, so you'll need to text me. So if you want it, if we need to have a phone conversation, that's fine, but text me first. When you text me, I don't care if you've texted me before. Each conversation that you initiate through text includes your course number, name. So it's you can put comp and benefit. Hey, this is so and so from comp and benefits. Or you can say, hey, this is so and so from 5331, and always include your name too, because sometimes students will assume that since we texted at the beginning of the semester, by the end of the semester, all that history saves, and I can't save all of my history. I use up all my phone storage. So always, and that's just a good professional practice to get in. So always say, hi, this is so and so. This is the class. So you can text me. You can also email. So be mindful at what you choose to email versus text, because the texting has worked for so long because students don't abuse it, right? So if I'm teaching a lot of classes this semester. I've probably got, I don't even know, 150 students. So if all 150 students decided to text me every time they had a question or needed me, like if they use that in replacement of email, this would never work. It'd be too overwhelming. So use it sparingly. Text should be used if you have an urgent issue. Okay, so don't text me if you are reminding me that you need time and a half set up for your exam in 2 weeks. That would need to be emailed. But if you're with your group and you're working on something and you're just not sure about something, and you're working on that now, that would be a great reason to text me. So you'll get a more immediate response, typically, most of the time through text. Also, if you've emailed me and you haven't heard back within 24 hours, you feel free to send me a text and follow up. So that's fine as well. Okay. I post my office hours on my Google Calendar. So there's a link here and you can click on this and it will show like when I have virtual office hours. Okay. And you can schedule, if you want to meet, if you want to do a Zoom, you can schedule directly through my calendar. But what I ask is make sure that you are I had an issue last year where one student would go in and schedule like the time that was convenient for them that was not marked as an appointment. I'm not even really sure how they're able to do that. But this is you can schedule times to meet with me based on the appointments that I have, the appointment slots that I have listed. Okay, you'll notice I don't have a whole lot of appointment slots at the first couple weeks because I don't know what students' schedules are. So this is not the only times. I mean, I am very flexible. You'll find I teach mostly online classes, so I work at kind of times that work best for students. So if there's not a time that fits and you want to meet about something, then don't add anything. Just only use this link of it to get appointment blocks that are listed there. If you want to meet at another time, then I ask that you send me an email. I ask that so we don't have to go back and forth, back and forth. In that email, you make sure you include your name, the course you'd like to meet, you check the office hours, and you're not able to meet during those time blocks, and then provide 3 alternative times. That's very important. Okay, so we have to be efficient because I have so many students. So in that first email, say here are 3 days times that are good for me. Normally, if you'll do those 3, I'll be able to fit into one of those. Okay, don't send something saying when are you available to meet, because then I'll have to go back and it just back and forth. Send me 3 times that are good for you, and then we will get figure something out. Okay, attendance verification. This I think this was new last semester, but this is my first time using this new way where you can self verify your attendance. This is great because when I used to do it, I would wait until the deadline and do it all at once. And I'd have students all week, when are you verifying my attendance? Just want to make sure you're verifying my attendance. So now you are going to do it yourself. So you can scan this QR code, open up the camera on your phone. I think if you have an Apple phone, you do it through your camera. I think maybe Androids, you have an app. I'm not really sure, but I'm an Apple person. But you can Google how to scan QR codes because they're so prevalent now. If you haven't used them, they're awesome. So this would be a good opportunity for you to learn how to do it from your phone. You'll read this with your phone. It will take you to the MyUWF website or app, whatever you're on your phone. It'll have you log in, and then basically it will recognize that it will confirm that you have verified your attendance. If you're not able to use your phone, if you don't have a phone, it won't work for the QR code, whatever, log into UWF, go into the classmate, and let's see, I can show you real quick. When I say classmate, this is, you're probably familiar with, so the classmate's where you go. I'll go even one step back. Let's see, where am I? Okay, here we go. My UWF, you're gonna log in here, you click on classmate. Yours obviously looks different but it's a student view, looks a little different, but this you'll see fall 2020, all the classes that you are enrolled in. Okay, where are we? All right, when you click on details, you'll have a check-in tab, and that's basically where you're going to go. You may also be able, be able to get to it by clicking in this check-in window active. But basically what you're trying to get to is a place to enter this code, 974840. Okay, do this before the end of week 1. Okay, and you'll be good. Students who do not complete this by the end of week 1 will not be eligible for financial aid and may be dropped. If you are struggling to complete this, I mean, there's so much going on this week. Don't let this, stress you out. Shoot me an email and I can help you. Okay. All right. So you can read through all this. This is basic information. What's going on, what the course is about. This is important. Okay. Let's talk about the textbook. UWF bookstore, when I logged in to verify resources, notice that they do show that this book is required, but at one point they had a second book listed for another HR class that I teach. This is the only book you need. Okay, if you have purchased a second book, it's like, I think it's titled recruitment and selection or staffing or something. If you purchase anything other than this from the bookstore, you will be able to get a refund. And if they give you any problems, get in touch with me and I will help with that, because that is not your fault. So this is the only book you need. You can buy it used, you can buy it new, you can rent it, whatever. You don't need an access code. We're not using Connect. We're not doing any subscription. This is it. Okay. You do need this book, but this book is heavily used. Now, this class goes fast. We've established that. You do not have time to waste on waiting on your book. Okay. So don't wait on your book. If you don't have a book on day 1, okay, here is a link to click on. All right. This is like this, even though I said you don't need a Connect access code, this will let you can actually purchase the book through here too. But as you're purchasing as you go through the steps to register or sign up for your Connect account, which you have to do to purchase the book. On the screen where it wants you to enter your payment information, there is another option that will allow you to request a 14-day free trial access. Okay, so do that and then you'll have 14 days access to the e-text. You're not required to enter your payment information, anything like that, to get this. But if you don't have your book today, then request a trial access so you can get started and are not waiting around. Okay, this is probably pretty standard. If you've taken classes at UW before, you know the deal about needing a webcam, lockdown browser, respondus monitor. If not, if you're like, what's that? There's information on Canvas, which we'll kind of shoot over there. I'll show you in a few minutes. But there's a lot of information. A lot of this is pretty general for online classes, so I'm not going to go over any of that. Gives you information on who to contact if you have technical issues with Canvas or with my UWF. Okay, so I do want to spend a couple minutes showing you. Okay, so this is the format of the course. We've got 2 exams, okay, and a giant team project. All right, so the 2 exams, you'll notice one is closed note, closed book, and one is open note, closed book. All right, so here's what's going to happen. The first exam covers chapters 1 through 5, 7, and 8. Okay, the course project that is the group project, which is where you'll actually, it's an active learning project where you're going to work with a organization, look at one of their job structures, kind of develop a compensation system or analyze their current compensation system, their structure, look for key things, make recommendations, all of that good stuff. All of that is application based, but it uses the concepts for the first half of the book. So this whole group project is based heavily on the chapters 1 through 5 primarily, and then a little bit from 7 and 8. Okay, so you're going to find that the first part of this class it's going to be extremely heavy workload. Okay, because you're going to be trying to get through. We have to get through the first half of the book. You've got to learn the concepts before you can apply them, right? And when you start thinking about 8 weeks, that's just not a whole lot of time. So I try the schedule, we'll talk about it in a second. You'll see that it's a lot up front. Now, when you get to chapters 9 through 13, okay, that is much more definitional. It's more things that I'd like for you to be exposed to, introduced to in this class, but we're not focused on the application of those concepts in 9 through 13 for this class. So it's going to be much lighter. And you'll notice that exam 2, you get to use your notes. So just kind of keep that in mind, that the intensity that you may feel at the first part of the class regarding trying to get through the material will taper off after exam 1. Okay, but then after exam 1, you'll be also trying to crank out the team project. So the full intensity may not go down a whole lot. It's going to stay pretty high the whole semester, but just recognize, because some of the feedback I get for this class, the students say, there's way too much book work or way too much reading and stuff front loaded in this course. So I just want to be clear, I'm aware of that, but there is no way around it, because you have to get through chapters 1 through 5, 7, and 8 to be able to apply the concepts there for the group project. And you got to get through that material in enough time to have time to complete the project. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about the group project in this video. So there is, well, I say that I'm going to tell you what you need to do related to it today in a few minutes, but there is a separate instruction document in Canvas. I'll show you where that is when we get to that screen in a few minutes. Read through that and start deciding if you want to select your own teammates. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But there will be more to come for the group project during week 1. So I'll be posting like another kind of orientation introduction to the project to help you get started with that. Okay, so be on the lookout for more of that. Anytime I post new content on Canvas, something like that, I will also send out a class email. That was another thing I should have mentioned with email. Make sure I send emails to your student UWF student email accounts. You can email me from whatever account you want, and if I get it, if it doesn't get flagged as spam, I'll reply. But you need to make sure you are monitoring your student email account. There's a way to forward that to your personal account if that's easier, but I will send class communication. It will come through Canvas when I email the class as a whole, and that will be directed to your UWF accounts. Okay, read the syllabus. It gives you information about the exams, how to prepare for the exams. It talks about chapter outlines, which is basically, if we come back here to your overview, the chapter outlines are you've got an outline for each chapter. It's really just a list of questions that helps you focus on what's most important for that chapter. I'll show you that in Canvas, but each one's basically worth 20 points, okay? And these are due the week that they are introduced in class. It sounds like a very tight schedule. It never sounds like it's very rigid. The reason is because you will not be able to contribute to the group project if you don't know the material. So this is a way that I have found that actually helps everybody in the long run, because it ensures that all team members are doing their individual part to learn the material so that they can contribute to the group project. Chapter outlines are accepted late, but if they are submitted after the due date, then it's 50% off. Okay, so there's information about chapter outlines, and then there's a little bit of information here in the syllabus of the compensation project. But again, I'll show you, there's a whole separate document that looks at the group project online with plenty of resources. Here you'll find, let's see, the course schedule. Okay, I know it's sideways there. It's also posted in Canvas this way. So this is an overview. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to skip to Canvas now too and show you where that is. So here's what the class looks like when you get, when you first join, like when you first log into the class. These are organized in modules. You have the syllabus here and a weekly schedule, which is what we were just looking at. So all of this information is also in the assignments, in the calendar in Canvas, but this is here just for people who like to print something out. This would be your go-to. So each week, okay, week 1, what do I need to do? If you like to physically check things off, this is going to direct you there. So there's kind of, you're watching the video, so check that off. I've talked about attendance verification, becoming familiar with Canvas. Review the schedule. Let me know if you have any conflicts. Skim the instructions for the compensation project. So let me talk about how Canvas is organized a little bit. Like I said, it's modules. So this is all stuff that you should start with for, kind of, it's going to direct you for the first week, some things to do, and then again your syllabus, your schedule. Then you'll notice that you've got chapter outlines. Okay, so for each chapter you are going to complete these documents and submit those here. Okay, each chapter also has a module down below. Okay, and this is important that you go to the chapter modules and not just the module that has the chapter outlines in it. This is just really where you're going to submit the chapter outlines. But you probably want to, it probably makes more sense to kind of go to each chapter module has more resources. So for each chapter module, you can access the chapter outline, and I'll click on this just so you can see. You can see it's just questions here to help you, that you need to answer, that are going to help you focus on what's important in the chapters. Stuff in blue, you'll notice blue text in the chapter outlines. This corresponds specifically to the project. So this is something that will help you. So when you're working on your project and you're like, oh, I've got to apply these concepts, you should be able to toggle back to your chapter outlines, and this will help you. This is what it's talking about, kind of help you make some connections. Um, let's see. You also, so you've got PowerPoint slides for each chapter that follow the pretty much cover the information presented in the chapter outlines. Use the chapter outlines. We don't cover everything in every chapter. We don't cover every section or every page. So study smarter, not harder. You're welcome to read the whole book, but you won't be tested on material that's not covered on that chapter outline or PowerPoint slides. You'll notice then there's lecture videos. Okay, so not all chapters have them. If we scroll down, you'll see that the final chapters tend, the ones that I said are more definitional, more of an overview. They don't have any videos. A lot of these videos focus on the videos are not going to cover everything. But the videos focus on either things that I think are important that students sometimes struggle with, or primarily I use these to focus on how to link the concepts that we're talking about to the group project. Okay. Sometimes students struggle with accessing these. Just let me show you when you click on it. I don't know if it depends on how you have your pop-up. Like if you have your pop-ups enabled, it should open the video, but if it doesn't, then you just have to click here. So you'll just have to do a second step. Okay. The first week, we talked about verifying attendance. You need to, in addition to verifying your attendance, introduce yourself through this discussion board. Okay. This discussion board is used for you to network with like-minded students, for you to find students to work with on this project. Yes, I will assign you to, I will assign you to other students to work with after the first week if you don't find them on your own, but I strongly suggest networking and trying to find people with compatible goals for this course. If you're traveling a lot and you are gonna, it's gonna be, that would be something you might want people to know. Maybe it'd be more helpful for you to find somebody that also has a lot of scheduling conflicts, so y'all can both be more flexible with when the work is done. If you're a type A, like everything, if something's due Sunday, you can't stand it when people wait till that weekend to, you want stuff ahead of time, or anything like that. Any issues you've had with groups before, think about that. It's almost think of it as like a a an online ad, like who looking for the perfect group member. Okay, if you read the instructions for the team project first, it's a lot. You don't have to read them to know everything about it. Skim over it so you get an idea of what we're talking about here. That might give you some insight on some things you might want to talk about here. So you can, if you see somebody you are interested in working with, you can comment directly. You can comment on that thread, or you can also use the email function inbox, and you can email them directly. Probably you'll see that students will hit the ground running and start forming groups. So if you're one of those who is a go-getter and wants to be real proactive, sooner rather than later, I would say get on board with that. If you have a connection to an organization, inside connection, that you would be able to use for this project, that would be very helpful to post as well, because ideally, now it's not required that you know someone personally. I can help you reach out. The project instructions actually tell you how to reach out to find an organization on your own. I will say that since this is a condensed course, that's just one extra step. So it is, if you can organize, if the groups can be organized where one person per group has a connection to an organization, and whether it's where you work, or your spouse works, or a friend works, or where you used to work, whatever, that would be suitable for this project, that's going to really help. So I would include that as well. Okay, so I want to keep this short as possible, because there's a lot that you've got to kind of digest. So I actually might add another orientation video part two midway through the week based on questions that I received from students. But I think I'm going to stop there. I think I've given you enough stuff to kind of start with. Make sure you verify your attendance, find your group this week, and then if you go back to, where were we? The course schedule, which again you can download right here, weekly schedule. Go through week one. You've got in addition to finding a team, if you want to self-select team members, becoming familiar with the course, you have chapters 1 and 2 due this week. So like I said, a lot, we're not wasting any time. So your chapter outlines for 1 and 2 are due by the end of the end of the first week. Remember, each one's worth 20 points. If you submit them after the end of the first week, so if they're late, then it's 50% off. And I know that sounds harsh and inflexible, but that's because you can't contribute to the team project if you're not moving through this material and learning the concepts, because you won't be able to apply them. So this is a way to help make sure that all team members can contribute effectively. So don't be a stranger. Reach out to me if you need any help getting started. Hang in there. The course moves fast. Within a few days, you'll be rocking and rolling, and I'm here to help and excited to work with all of you over the next 8 very fast weeks. Have a great day.